now I just need to know. Cool. All right, let me send this. Yeah, we're back. We're back. I'm trying something out here, so I think we should be good to go. Let me pull up my charts for this week. Ooh. Sorry. Yeah, you guys have to subscribe if you want to comment. I think you have to be subscribed for a minute, and if you're subscribed for a minute, you can comment in the chat. Charts will be shared in the chat here. Yes. Yes, yes. Dope. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the chat here, in the YouTube chat, yes. But yeah, I think we're already live. We have been live for 3 minutes. How is the quality? Is the quality good? Can you guys, is my mic quality good? How's everything? What is the highest quality you guys can choose? Mm-mm. 1080p, everything all good? Okay, cool. Cool, cool. All right, as long as that's good. The only things that I was worried about was the quality, the mic, and then the annotations, but I texted Alex and he sent me something which is really cool, so now I can annotate on here. The only issue is going to be that people can't annotate their screen. But I mean, I guess we'll just have to live with it. It's okay. Sounds good. Video quality 1080p. I think that's perfect. I mean, I think the 1080p is as long as it's 60 frame, I think it's fine for any screen recording. We can just type, no worries. Okay, cool. Awesome. 13 viewers on today. This is what this looks like from my side. But yeah, I'm just gonna give it a couple minutes to let people hop on. Then I need to pull up my charts. and then we can get started. But yeah, if you guys have some case studies, please have them ready and we can go over them as soon as I'm done. Okay. I wonder what the delay is on here as well. I think there's a very small delay. I think it might be about a 5-second delay. That's what we're looking at. Hopefully that's not too bad for you guys. I wonder if this is better than like a Discord stream. I've never done like a Discord stream. Oh, it's about 3 seconds? Okay, that's fine. That's not too bad. I wonder what Zoom's is. Yeah, it's about the same as Zoom. I guess that's fine. That should be okay. Okay. Where is my chat? All right. We are good. Can everybody hear me? How many people do we have on here? 10 people. Cool. Alexander, good to hear from you. What's up? What's up? Give it a couple more minutes, see who else can be on. But yeah, if you can't comment, just remember you have to subscribe and be subscribed for a minute, and you should be able to comment. Let's see, any familiar faces on? First thing we do need, though, I will say, we need a name for the live stream. I think RCV chart session is a bit basic, I guess. I don't know what you guys would think is a cool name. Chart school, that's cool. I don't like the word school though, but I like derivative talk Fridays. That's cool. Sauce with vision is crazy. That's crazy, man. But yeah, do you guys have some case studies for me too? But yeah, here we can go get it started here. Give it like 1 or 2 more minutes so we can get started. I'm missing the Germany game right now for this guy, so hopefully I can catch the end of it. Dope. Who are you rooting for? I'm not rooting for either team. I think whoever wins is going to win the tournament, though. I guess the only other thing that sucks about YouTube is that you guys can't speak. I think we can figure that out. Maybe down the line we can have the YouTube stream and then we can have like a Discord call as well, and then that way my computer will read whatever you guys are saying on the Discord call. Maybe. Both teams are looking really good though, I will say. Super chat, LOL. I don't even know what that means, man. Honestly, like, what does super chat even mean? Sorry. Well, actually, I have an idea. Let's see. Let's see, English. Create channel, voice channel. Oh, cool. If you guys want, go to the free Discord. It should have live stream audio. You guys can join in. Maybe if somebody says something in the audio chat, it should come through the computer, meaning you guys should be able to hear each other through the live stream. Probably. Yeah, since this video is, since this call is public, yeah. And then if you don't have the link, try here. All right, I'm gonna mute myself on that channel. You don't have permission? Permissions. Everyone can connect, speak, no video activities. What about now? All right, I'm muted on there. Cool, 24 people on. This is cool. This is cool. We should be good to go here in a bit. I know there's a solution to it, bro. I know there's a solution to it. If somebody can just unmute, and then if you can hear me through if you can hear the person speaking through the live stream, we're good, and then we can get started. Like, I think it might have to be, I might have to run 2 streams. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, it's a work in progress for sure. I can't hear anybody from this. No, it says you're muted, bro. It says you're muted. Can anybody unmute? Is that what's wrong with Zoom? No, I'm gonna start doing live streams, especially for the big thing is the Spanish community. Last time we did a Spanish Zoom, it packed out like instantly. So there was like 300 people waiting. So it's just like, if we're gonna have that many people, I need to learn how to live stream rather than use Zoom, because Zoom, it's a complete ripoff if you get that business plan that they have. Complete ripoff. But yeah, and if I can get this going and it works out, then we should be good to go. It might take me a couple tries, though, I will say. All right, so nobody can unmute themselves on in the Discord? Yes or no? Can nobody mute themselves? Or unmute, sorry? Yeah, but I mean, I like YouTube because it's YouTube and it's gonna give exposure to the brand. That's the only reason why I chose YouTube. Like, it doesn't make sense to just use some other platform. Okay, push to talk. Okay. Permissions. Mute members, priority speaker, use voice activity. All right, cool. All right, you guys should be able to unmute now. Maybe your connection's a bit off, bro. You kind of buffered a bit there. All right, but screw it. It'll either works or it doesn't work. It is what it is. We'll just go ahead and get started. I feel like I'm taking a bit too long. But anyways, I'm sorry for the delay. That is 20 minutes down into the stream. Welcome to the first live stream. The goal is to, rather than doing free Zooms, is to do these live streams on YouTube. I think it's kind of just more of a bang for buck thing, but it is unfortunate that this is not like a Zoom call and you guys can't actually speak. But I'll find a loophole for this, don't worry. I'll be more prepared for the next one, but yeah, other than that, we can go ahead and get started. It was actually a bit of a slow week for me to begin with, solely because I wasn't really feeling too well. I was very, very tired. I've been working out a lot over the past couple of days / 2 weeks. I've pretty much changed my split completely. I'm pretty much doing 3 different splits every single day. It's some type of cardio. I have a good buddy that is big into calisthenics, and he's recently trying to put me on to just learning everything about that, and it's completely changed my paradigm on fitness. So I do a couple of workouts regarding that, and then afterwards I'll just go kick the ball around for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and it's good in terms of like I feel really, really well. But I will say that I do feel really, really, really tired in the mornings. It's really, really hard to get out of bed in the mornings. So just something I'm gonna have to work on. But yeah, that did kind of help me back a bit this week. But either way, we got some progress going, and there was 2 trades this week plus this back test. Because as you guys know, or the people who have been paying attention to the Zooms, I am trying to transition outside of solely FX pairs and trying to get into more higher volatility assets, meaning I'd like to trade indexes. I'd like to trade maybe a commodity or two. But for now, really the 2 that I really, really want to stick to that I think will be very beneficial in the long run is S&P and gold. So for the most part, I haven't been taking too many trades. I'm still trying to read the price action, learn the price action, see how the models vary in these assets. Because yes, maybe the models will present themselves, but maybe in a different way. Maybe there's minor details where maybe a sweep of liquidity will occur before a model, or maybe that happens later to the session, or maybe it happens right at the beginning of the session. So it's just minor nuances that I'm gonna have to kind of figure out in order to make these my full-time pairs, because you guys know that I was solely trading EU, AU, and GU. So we can go ahead and get started with this first one. This isn't a trade I took. This is just a back test that I did. I believe this is on Monday, July 1st. Yeah, this is on Monday, where we pretty much had a pretty textbook LGC model. As you guys know, we always want to focus on direction, liquidity, execution, right? So we know that our direction is bearish, right? We know that we have taken some type of structure which solidifies this as a major low or as an important low, but this just more importantly shows that the pullback has begun. So once we have, right, the LG continuation, which is an LG favoring the directional bias, then we can even argue, right, that after the LGC is confirmed, we can easily argue, right, that this is a area of interest and that this could potentially come lower. But unfortunately, this hit a bit early in the session, and it really wasn't something that I was paying attention to, but more so, I was more so paying attention to this. Why? Because this is a bullish break. Because this is a bullish break, this is now a sign of internal unwillingness, right? It's not external until the high breaks. So this is when we would consider it to be a reversal break of structure. But because that is not the case, we only have the internal break. This is internal unwillingness, meaning internally this is bullish. So because that is internally bullish, we have to wait for a transition to justify a scenario. So if I'm looking at solidified points, right, this is the last time we saw some type of low be broken. We then come into the upside and then we see a break again. So we have a low, high, into a retracement, right? Meaning we still have the sell to buy area here, right? Because we have that sell to buy area there, then this is still technically bullish. The internal bullish move is still in play, and that target has been met here, right? So this is why we don't want to sell immediately after the continuation BOS, because if we are to sell immediately after, then there's still, the transition is still not in play, and the internal is still technically in play. So because the sell to buy is still here, we are still anticipating this high to be ran, but this is not necessarily something I would want to trade. Why? Because our directional bias is still bearish. So I'm only reading the internal order flow so that I can either justify a scenario or justify not trading a scenario. So after the target was met, we then have another LGC, right? Whereas if we would have used the first LGC, I mean, we could have easily used the this POI, or we could have used the entire buy to sell, and this would have been still, very, very good for the TP. But coming into the scenario at play, I noticed that this, right, was swept, and then that led into, right, a LGC model. So once the LGC model is in play, we only wait for a mitigation, SL at invalidation, and we aim for the first external low. Right, and there was actually even a second conservative move here, even though the RR wouldn't have been too well. But overall, just something I was looking at on Monday. As you guys know, I don't really trade Mondays, so just something to review from that day. But coming into the executions of the week, 1 loss, 1 win. The first loss here, where is my, okay. So when I was developing this idea, right, I understand that externally we are bullish. I also understand that we probably have structural disruption in play. So because we have structural disruption in play, I am anticipating, right, that this is a structural range that is in play, meaning we have a high, low, retracement, and maybe potentially coming lower. But because it doesn't favor this bias, I'm not really too interested in it. I'm more so interested in potentially seeing a failed conversion. And after the SD, right, the structural disruption, I do note that there is no low that's being swept up until here. So once this low is swept, then I can now anticipate this as the pullback high of high, low retracement, right? And then due to that break of structure, this solidification, meaning if this is going to continue lower, it's going to happen now, right? Which is obviously not what happens. So once the pullback high is solidified and then taken, I'm now anticipating this to be, right, a liquidity grab continuation into the upside, and I am looking for a potential move. Okay, I'm gonna have to leave this call. Sorry guys, I have to leave this call. Let's see, how do I leave? There we go. All right, anyways, so as we broke the pullback high as mentioned, I'm more so anticipating this to be an LGC into the upside. But unfortunately, my bias was correct. It's just that the timing just simply wasn't, right? My target ended up being hit, but not at the desired time that I was waiting for it. So technically, right, where I had messed up here is, even though the execution can be here, I have to also remember that the invalidation of the entire move is not technically until here, right? Because if we have a structural disruption, right, then this could also be, right, anticipated as a external LGC, meaning this could potentially retrace lower and then continue higher without invalidating the bias. So I kind of just read this a bit wrong. I was more so focused on the reversal mindset, which is, can the SD fail and then give me an execution to the upside, rather than focusing on the entire continuation move where we have a low swept and the high swept, meaning this is a bullish LGC. Now I would just need a justification, right, as to why I would need to enter, right? And if I'm buying here, then this is technically buying a premium, right, rather than buying a discount. So that was my mistake there. But it is good to see that the bias was technically correct. And if I was to have even waited for some type of conversion, right, that's a CBOS, high, low, retracement, structural disruption. This is a conservative entry. This is a conservative entry. This is a conservative entry. All right. So if I had looked at this, maybe outside of my hours, then maybe I could have caught a position here. But either way, a loss is a loss, and it is what it is. So moving on to the winner of the week. Right. So when it comes to this EURUSD move, this is more so I would say more of an intraday move, not necessarily a scalp. And I don't know what it was. This was, I think, 2 days ago. This was on Wednesday, where I just had so much conviction. I was so convinced that this move was going to come into fruition. And that is something that I probably couldn't explain, but it's something that I definitely need to work on. Where I am 100% sure this is going to be right, and I hardly ever feel this about many scenarios where I feel like it's 100% going to be right. Because if I feel that it's 100% going to be right and then it fails, then it could really hurt the psychology. But this was one of those moves where I just saw it, and it's not even a type of setup that that follows a particular model, or it looks like a previous setup that I've taken even this year. This is a bit out of character for me, but I had so much conviction that this was going to go, and I said, you know what, this is worth the risk. So the position here is it's just a simple trend continuation. This is as simple as it gets, right? Where you have, right, an impulsive move into the upside. All right, obviously I use this as my fib because this is the last time we broke a low. So once this is solidified, we have a solidified low, and then here, once we have the CBOS, then we have our solidified points giving us our structural range. That's why I'm using those 2 points. So once that has been solidified, I do note that we have a turbulence point. And we do have a turbulence point because this is the final interruption before we gave the move to the upside, meaning there has to be some type of sell to buy move there. So because there is a sell to buy move there, then I can now justify a position into the upside. And my position was solely based on a limit order, continuing order flow based on the previous turbulence point on a bullish trend. So this is kind of just as simple as it gets. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't even consider this a perfect setup. It's just one of those setups that I just had so much confidence that it was going to work. And it's good to see that it actually did work out. It took a while, but it actually gave the move into the upside. And I was actually watching this yesterday, and there was actually a very good scenario here during during New York session, and I was actually looking at this and seeing if this can give us a move into the upside. And this is something that I've seen before, and I'm actually going to come look at this before we move on to the case studies. But yeah, I was kind of the best way to put this is I was using this point of interest as a justification to continue holding the trade, because once I woke up, right, obviously if we are here during New York session, then I know that we have a CBOS continuation, meaning my invalidation is here. My invalidation has to be here. So as we're continuing higher, then I do know, right, that we are coming back down, but we have not taken out any type of low. So this is my trail stop 1. We have not broken down any type of low. And the first time that we took out a solidified low was here. And then we took out that high as well. So this is now my trail stop number 2. So we are now essentially about halfway to TP. And I'm also anticipating, right, this move that we will come back to. I will show you guys here in a bit. But after this gave the impulsive move to the upside, right? My trode stop is here. And when we were here, right, this was like pretty much for the rest of the day, it was kind of like an internal struggle of, do I want to close here or do I want to hold for the limited TP that's left? And the reason why this is becoming an issue, or this became an issue, is because there was just an impulsive move to the upside. There is no solidified points in this red line here. So because there is no solidified points, I cannot move my trode stop. And because we are in this range, right, I am now risking, let's say, 0.5 TP, or I'm risking a 0.5 TP for a negative 2R drop, which means that is a negative risk to reward, right? So because that is a negative risk to reward, it's kind of just giving me a bit of just something in the back of my mind on whether I should close or I should not close. And throughout the years, the best answer has always been do not close, because you don't want to accommodate your rules to one scenario. So what I said was, okay, I'm either going to have to move my stop a bit, and the only justifiable place I can move up my stop to is here. Because this is, right, technically an internal break, and then there was pretty much immediate continuations right after that. But more so, what I was wondering is, if we are to take out this high, okay, now I can move my SL here and we're good, right? But fortunately for me, this actually happened while I was off of the charts, and I didn't even need to move my SL. But in hindsight, I will say that that wasn't the best way to manage the position, but it was the best that I could do with my current rule set at this current time. So hopefully that makes sense to you all, but it is a bit tricky when it comes to almost reaching your TP, ranging up, and then figuring out whether you want to close, hold, or just move your SL. Right? As you guys know, whenever I get close to a target or a TP, I'm more so looking for the immediate continuations, right? So let's say if this was during session, then we do have a break here and a break here. So I would have moved my stop loss there, and then I would have been swept out here, right? If I'm on the charts, I will 100% do this, and I will 100% stand by that, because like I said, I'm risking, right, a very minimal take profit for all of this profit that I'm already in. So instead of doing that, I'd rather just completely trail my stop immediately as I'm close to my TP. So any type of internal break will make me move my SL. So even though I am swept, I have only lost this potential profit, but I have still maximized the return here, right? Which in my opinion is just the best way to go about it. But unfortunately, this was after, right, after my trading hours. So just honestly, just a bit of a lucky scenario for me here. But just goes to show that as long as you get the direction right, you should be fine. Just have to set invalidation points, trail stops, and reasons to hold. But yeah, does that make sense to you all? Is this making sense to you all? Is this cool? Cool. Any questions with these two trades? But yeah, this was the scenario that that happened yesterday. So I should have, in my opinion, I should have stacked here. What did I see during New York on EU? I did not look at EU today, if I'm being honest. Most news days, I'm kind of just staying away. Like, look at this. Look at this whiplash. So yeah, I didn't after I saw that, I'm like, you know what? No, thank you. I'm good for today. But yesterday, this was my justification to hold my position from EURUSD. But in my opinion, like I said, I feel like I should have stacked here. I should have 100% stacked here, just because this is a scenario I've seen before. Like if we look at this scenario here, looks oddly similar. Actually, I think I saw the wrong setup. But this does look oddly similar to this, right? Where we have, right, a low, we have a higher low, that low is swept, we have a transition, and then we move into the upside. So if we go to actual price today, and that was during COVID, right, we have a low, right, we have a higher low or two higher lows here, right, then we have a sweep, and then we have a transition, and then we have the move to the upside. So once we go through that, then I'm more so waiting for the reasoning as to why I should continue higher. So if I'm looking at price, this is going up, right? Direction is up. I don't need to mark my structure here in order to justify that this is going up. This is going from down to up. So it's directionally bullish at the moment, right? So after this now becomes solidified, right? This is now our solidified low into, right, a solidified high, which after the CBOS is confirmed to be our structural range, right? But, and the reason why this is important is because if we are to now break this low, right, if we are to break this low, then we have structural disruption, right? If we have structural disruption, then we can no longer be bullish, at least for the short term. We would need a conversion, right? If we have the structural disruption be confirmed, we would need some type of failure to then continue higher. So we are playing within this range at the moment, right? And I cannot justify a move into the upside. The only move I can justify into the upside would be the final buy to sell to buy move, and this would be in play. And I cannot really move my invalidation until the external is taken. So if this was to have been the case, excuse me, then once it's broke, I can now move my invalidation here. But that is not the scenario that I'm looking at, because I am looking at this, right, as an LGC continuation. Then I am anticipating the order flow to continue higher, take out this high, and then potentially go up higher. But because that did not happen, we swept this high. This is not a break, this is a sweep. We did not substantially break through the high. So we have a sweep, and then we have the opposing liquidity grab in the opposite direction, right? Meaning that this is now internally bearish. So this internal bearish is more than likely aiming for some type of liquidity. This liquidity is being swept, but we have not invalidated our bullish bias, right? But at the same time, I don't have a position to enter off of. I don't have anything to play off of. I'm only reading the price. So because the internal is technically bearish, right, we now have high into low because this is a break here, right? So I'm potentially anticipating a retracement at a POI to potentially give a move into the upside. But fortunately, this gave a reaction and then broke through, which technically is order flow disruption, maybe just not from this time frame. This would be considered, yeah, actually we can consider order flow disruption. Why? Because we came into a point of reference, we broke an internal structure point. Why? Because this internal low led us into the high that was at the POI. So because there is a break here that does confirm the reaction, meaning this POI was valid. So because that is valid, right, once we see the break, now this is order flow disruption. So because we have order flow disruption, cool. Now I can zoom back out, and this is where I got that point of interest that that I showed you guys, because we have the order flow disruption. We now have the sell to buy move. So because we have the sell to buy move, where is this is now my point of interest. Why? Because this is a solidified low that led into the break of this. So if this is to break, if that is to then break, then we now have a liquidity grab into the downside, and I can now anticipate a potential move to the upside. Why? Because this is no longer now my invalidation, because this high has now been fully broken, and then we then have the break, then I can justify the move into the opposite direction. So the disruption in play, right? Like I said, this should have been where I stacked, but that was my mistake. I should have stacked here. But if that was the case, this was actually a very, very good trade because we're aiming for the same target because we're going off of the initial bias from the intraday setup. So this would have been a very, very good setup. Right, about a 1 to 5. So that would have been a very good setup, right? And then this is what we call quote unquote reaccumulation, but I don't really want to call it that. It doesn't really matter because I cannot call it a reaccumulation until it is complete. And if it is complete, I cannot trade it. So this is more so just a continuation to the upside. After we swap liquidity, internal OFD, and then this is our reasoning to justify the move to reach our TP from the original intraday setup. So does that make sense, guys? Cool. Does that make sense? Any questions, any concerns when it comes to any of these setups? Does this work for crypto? Try it out, buddy. Try it out. Try it out. Maybe some of the RCV guys can answer that for you. Could you go over the first entry again? What first entry? Do you mean the first entry I reviewed or the first entry on this chart? How about that oil PA? I don't look at oil, bro. I don't look at oil. I haven't looked at that in years. I mean, what is there to explain, bro? This is trend continuation, turbulence point, continuation. Nothing much else outside of that. Cool. So, let's see. Now that I'm done with my side, do you guys have any executions? Yes, yes, Jeevan. Like I said, there was no model. I think did you miss the explanation that I was going through? I particularly said that there is no model here and that I just had a ton of conviction with this move, and that's why I took it. I specifically said that I recommend maybe going over it after the live stream is done. But yeah, let's see. We can go ahead and get started with the case studies. Let's see, who has the first case study for today? Should have a couple. Are you trading SPX on the 5-minute? How do you even answer that? What do you mean? I'm confused on the question. Yes. The time frame is irrelevant, bro. It says your message is unable. That's weird. Here's what we'll do. Here's what we will do. Okay, just go ahead and post them in the post them on the Discord. Oh, wait. Hold on. Can you guys just put in one chart? Let's see. Is this too long? There's no way there's no way one link is too long, but you're probably trying to put 5 links in one message. Let's see, you should be able to add one link at a time. Maybe two. Let's see. Where did you send it? EV capital message. It's not popping up on my screen. It's not. Yeah, it's your message isn't popping up. What do I say to people who say? What do you say to people who say you have to only trade one type of play and you can manage risks on that? Bro, anything works, man. Anything works. There is no this is better than that. There is no. What do I say to people who say that? I don't care about those people. What do you think about that? What do you think you have to do? What do you think you can how do you think you can excel? I can't see anything that you're posting, bro. It's But yeah, man, try to think for yourself, bro. That's something that I'm also trying to incorporate in my personal life. It's like if I'm ever going through a problem, if I'm ever going through whether it's business, personal, emotional, or even a spiritual problem, if there's any problem that I'm having, like, is my first inclination to try to reach out to somebody to see what they would think, right? And if that's a yes, then maybe you're trying to not think for yourself and just trying to use the other person's thoughts and have them tell you what to do, if that makes sense. So it's more so like, what do you think about it, and how do you apply that, how do you use that, how do you leverage that information? You think it's legit, then well, then yeah, the live chat's not showing the links. That's weird. I looked in the settings. It's not, there's no settings there. No. I mean, okay, that's fair, right? You can use other people's thoughts as a tally, but what if they're in disagreement with you? Now what do you do? What if they're all in disagreement with you? What if you have an opinion and you ask 5 people and those 5 people have the opposing opinion? Do you now change your opinion? Then that means that you're not thinking for yourself, you know? That's okay too. Sure. Yeah, exactly. A coin does have two sides, but which one are you choosing? Which judgment are you going to follow? And there's no right or wrong answer, you know. You can use other people's judgment, that's fine. Let's see. All right, opening these is going to be a pain. Actually, no. Yes. All right, we will go through these in order. How do you trade in these market conditions where the markets are reaching all-time highs? Well, it doesn't really matter for me where price is going. My entire trading style is focused on trading transitions, right? Like, if I can trade a bullish to bearish transition on a bullish trend, then I will reach the first immediate bullish target. That's the entire gist, right? Like, order flow disruption is, let's say we are in a bullish trend, right? I'm oversimplifying this, right? But this in and of itself is a failed transition, right? Because this is a failed transition, this is where a move will begin. So now, because this is where a move will begin, I just have to realize, where are we aiming for, right? And where this derives from, I can show you really quick. I can show you really quick. Where is this? Perfect. Perfect. All right, this is just an example. This is just an example. Right, these ranges, all of these, right? These are all transitions, right? This is a bullish to bearish transition. This is a bearish to bullish transition. This is a bullish to bullish transition. And this is a bullish to bearish transition, bearish to bearish transition, bearish to bearish transition, right? These are all transitions. Ranges are all transitions. And now you just have to measure or figure out which direction they're going to. And once you can figure out what direction they're going to, then you just have to figure out what target they are aiming for, right? So, for example, right, if we see this transition here, right, there is a transition. That means a move is about to begin. This move is now aiming for previous liquidity, right? Here, maybe there is a transition, but there is no entry. Then here, there is a transition, but this is a bullish to bullish transition. So where are you aiming for? Previous high. Bingo, done. Right? There's a bearish transition here. aiming for that target. Bingo, out the way. Transition, maybe you can aim for the previous low. Or let's say you're right here, you sweep liquidity, you then find an entry continuation here, you're aiming for this, and just like that, you're out. Right? Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter where the market is. It just matters what transition is in place and where is that transition aiming for. That's kind of the two things. But yeah, we can go ahead and get to the first example here. Okay, 2 trades. Let's see. Okay, based on this direction, we're technically bullish. I note this as an LG, meaning it could be internally bullish for a bit. But then it transitions to bearish. And then this is bearish order flow. And then this is unwillingness because we failed to break the low. So I can see why you're anticipating the bullish move. But my question is, where is the structural disruption? I don't see that. Because if this is, well, this is technically not a structural range. This is a sweep. This is not a break. See, like this is a break. This is a sweep. So directionally bullish. This makes us internally bearish. CBOS, but this is not a solidified structure point. So the structure is looking bearish even without that. And then we have, right, the transition to the downside. We have solidified high. This should technically continue lower. So once this breaks, you technically do have a bullish move. Okay, so I do see where you see the bullish move. So this is technically bullish internally. Now, here's the question. Well, this is not an invalidation. This is not a solidified point. That is not an invalidation. But moving your invalidation after the break, that is good. That is good, right? Because now you know that if you break here, then you're technically wrong. So this was good management. I disagree with the first invalidation. The first invalidation should have been here because this is the last time we broke a low before we created the move up. So the invalidation would be here. And you can take your execution here. That's perfectly fine. And then once this breaks, you can move the invalidation. That's good. And you could even move it again if you wanted to, because you have a CBOS continuation. You could easily move it to break even now. And then that would have been a break even. And this would have been fine. So the management here, I would say, is good. I would say this is a good case. Even though it resulted in a loss, it just shows that potentially the timing was wrong. But you managed it to the best of your ability, meaning that. So this is good. I agree with this. This is fine. This is fine. Okay, bullish, pullback, solidification, break, technically bearish. Let's see. Internal unwillingness for minor intraday leg. It's yes after this. Yes. And then because you have the buy to sell, you could use the entire buy to sell move. But you refined that to a point of interest, I'm assuming. So the invalidation here, good. The invalidation is good. And then I would say your invalidation 2 is confirmed once this breaks. Right? But by the time this breaks and by the time you move your SL, you would have hit TP. So overall, good case. Good case. The biggest thing here, right, is where the transition occurs, which is here. Right? So technically, this is a bullish move, right? That's a bullish move. So technically here, this should continue higher, right? So once we have this low be solidified, okay, then this should technically go higher. This was your first position. This technically should go higher, but obviously we can't 100% read the market. We can only go off what it's telling us. So that's why we wait for transitions. So once this then fails, right, which is what breaks what causes the break even for the first position, because you have an invalidation, that is your invalidation for the bullish bias. And because that then creates the bearish leg, and then you find the point of interest, That is very well played. So whoever sent this, that's very good. Who is this? Okay, this is, I don't know why your name isn't showing on the Discord, but Jay, thank you for that. That's a very good case study, or very good set of case studies. Yeah. I'm coming to him. You're after Tim. Well, that's course material, buddy. That is on the YouTube. That's course material. Go through the YouTube. Go through the info. I'm not here to teach you the lessons. I'm here to refine the lessons. That's the point of these calls, right? If I give you the education for free, that's for you to study. And I just want the Zooms to be where we refine. Because obviously I can explain something a certain way. That doesn't mean you will apply it in that way. But I want to see how you apply it, because then that's how we can refine it. That's why, like, the maintenance side of trading is, I think, the biggest side when it comes to teaching. So that's the point of these calls, is the maintenance side. Not for me to teach you the actual concepts, because those are already on YouTube. BB Capital, please be nice or I will kick you off the call. This guy's here genuinely looking to learn, and you're not about to trash him. And if you continue to do that, we will kick you out. Or I could just ban you from the channel, whichever is easier. Okay. First scenario, the EU is internal SD. Okay. Sorry. Bullish. This is solidified. Okay, this is based on the move that based on the move that we talked about, or my EURUSD move. Okay, so I see the transition. Let's just see here the result. Okay. Okay, so internally this is bearish. We do have this being solidified. So once this breaks, this is now unwillingness. So we have a high, low, retracement, unwillingness, break. So we now have this low into this high, because this is the first time we see the CBOS here. So I would say that that if you're going to take an aggressive entry, I can see why you noted this, but you waited for the conservative, which is after that LG. And overall, very good. Okay, very good. Use the entire zone. Perfect. Perfect entry. Right, and then once this is broken, this is still your invalidation. But once you have the CBOS into the continuation, we now have this as your trailed stop at break even. And I think, let's see how that could have worked out. Yeah, like we said, this is the invalidation here based on the move. So I cannot move it now until we have a CBOS continuation, which would have been up until here. And then that would have been the same management that I would have gone about. Just the only issue, like I said, would have been how we manage the trade here. That would have been the only thing. Linda Rashk, never heard of her. Next. Okay, so directionally bullish. This is GU. Internal SD. Yes. Well, this would be an LGC, just because we're directionally bullish and we have an LG, so it's an LGC. But there is an internal structural range. And now this entry is intriguing. Let's see. So the entry came after a sweep. Was that a sweep? I think that's a sweep. Very good entry. So internally, this is bearish, high, low, retracement, right? But once the retracement breaks through internal structure and then it breaks through, then technically that is a sign of unwillingness here, right? So if you're looking into the micro, then once this breaks and then you use the entire POI, then that would take very good entry. So very, very good entry for the people that don't understand that. High, low, retracement. And then there's obviously like a bit of a whiplash here where we take out the high and the low. But once we take out the low, which solidifies this, and then the low takes that solidified high out, then that shows this as unwillingness based on high, low, retracement, unwillingness, break, and this would give you this perimeter. So overall, very good entry. Very good entry. And now my issue is, see, like based on this type of entry, like for me, this has to be your target. This has to be the target. Because the problem with using micros, right, on intraday biases is that sometimes, yes, you can get a transition, right? This could be a transition. This could be here, but on an external trend, right, you could maybe hit some type of target and then it retraces deeper and then it goes forward. That's the only problem with using micros on external biases. That's why I always use internal model, external target. That's like the best way to go about it in terms of efficiency when it comes to risk to reward and the duration of the trade. But sometimes it does work out. It does work out like it did here, right? Because technically here, I would not be surprised if this came, whiplashed you, and then came up. That's the only problem with this. But I would say, based on that transition that you would have taken, I would have just taken profit here, because you get a quick 1 to 2, 1 to 3, potentially 1 to 4R off the bat. And rather than waiting through all the drawdown to then only get another 4R, you're now maximizing the efficiency for this scenario and then maybe getting another scenario here. Because you have a very similar setup where you have a sweep, transition. You have it here again, sweep, transition. But that just comes with knowing the type of trader that you are. But either way, no complaints on these. Would have partial there, yeah. But did you partial there is the question, you know? Would have. Like, woulda, coulda, shoulda, you know, doesn't mean stuff. But yeah, let's move on to the next. Spain just scored. Let's go. Nice. Okay, we will come back to number 2. Okay. So OFD, yes, OFD. So something to note, right? This is the reaction, but the OFD is not confirmed until this. All right, just let's not get that misconcepted. If you get a reaction and then you have a break in the POI, that does not invalidate the POI. So good for you to wait for this. Come back. Oh, that's high momentum. I wonder if this works out. I'm curious. Where's the result here? Where's the result here? Okay, so there's a result here. So this is bearish, but we failed to break a low, we failed to break a high, and we're in the structural range. So this is no man's land. All right, no man's land, because we failed to break a high and we failed to break a low. So which direction is this going? We have no idea. So, right. No idea which way this is going. So I disagree with pretty much everything almost here. And yeah, you see, it's just the direction is not clear. Yeah, so don't like this one at all. If you could also minimize the amount of charts you're sending, that would be ideal, because 5 is a bit much. Okay. Okay, I remember this. Okay. I do remember this. I think you sent this in the chat. This is actually a very good trade. I really like this trade because the external, actually go back, is technically bullish. Well, the external of this scenario, right? Obviously, the higher time frame would still technically be bearish, but the immediate external is technically bullish, right? So you're having to justify that move in order to get us a position. So you have the LGC model in play, and there is also an internal, right, OFD here. So because you have disruption here, we have a structural range in play, and this is very good, right? Very good. And this ended up smashing the TP, I believe. So this is a very good trade. Well, this would have been the TP for me. I wouldn't have held, probably wouldn't have held to all the way up here, because this could come in and reverse. But yeah, something I don't like to see though is look at your TP here. Your TP is here, and then you just switch it. Like no. That's not the original idea. Like if you're gonna TP here, just TP. Like don't get greedy. Just take what you get. That's already a 1 to 4, 1 to 5 incredible trade. No entry. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I see. So 1, 2. Okay, so you got the direction right. Direction's technically bullish after this break. This is a good position. It just doesn't seem like you caught that one. And yeah, this is unfortunate. So this is not necessarily the POI. Like this is why we reference sell to buy and buy to sell. This is the sell to buy. So because that is the sell to buy, you have to use the entire range. But because then the RR isn't worth it, this would make me not want the trade. Right? Like if here, rather than it being a something like that, it's then it makes a bit more sense. This is just a straight impulse to the downside. But yeah, that's okay. No issues with that. But yeah, Brian, I need you to minimize the amount of charts you're sending to. If you can keep it a 2 to 3 per trade, that would be amazing. And these no entries, like I don't think you need to show me the no entries. I want to see your results. I want to see what you win and what you lose, not what you miss. Let's see. Unfortunate, unfortunate. I see. I see the position. This is not OFD. Not OFD. Where's the reaction? Where's the reaction of the POI? No reaction. So this is simply a liquidity grab continuation because we're bullish, meaning you can aim for here. Now you just need a reason to execute your long. You see, this is whenever I see a reaction occur before my POI and then it comes to the POI, it usually turns me off with the scenario. Just because I don't necessarily want the PA to be perfect, but if there's a reaction before my POI, then maybe there's already a sign of unwillingness. So it works and then it doesn't work, but if it's something I can control, I would prefer to not take a move after that happens. But yeah, it does work at times, as you can see here. It does work at times, but a lot of the times it does turn me off. So yeah, if you would have been strict with the rules here, this would have been actually a very good winner. But yeah, I definitely don't like to see reactions before my POI, and then you can see this was choppy as well. So this just goes to show that the execution was the timing wasn't necessarily the best, but this means that you got everything else correct, meaning the direction and the overall timing was correct. Okay, good. Your TP was the first one. That's good. This is not OFD, man. You're forcing these. You're forcing these. This is not order flow disruption. There's no reaction. The reaction here would have been there. Because at times you can justify that as the reaction, but I don't want to, what is the word? I don't want to nitpick. Because sometimes I do catch myself doing that, and I don't want to end up forcing, right, the disruption in order for me to then take a loss, you know. So definitely finding the balance between that is good. Yeah, see, this was not disruption because this swept the liquidity of your trade. It swept the liquidity before it gave the move, so that just shows that the timing wasn't right. You see, so the conservative position here is after this happens, right? And then you have the break of there. Okay, this is a failed reaction. This is a type of structural disruption here because we have the failed reaction. So now once you see the impulse, it doesn't matter where your sell to buy is, but this is now your conservative entry, right? And you could even wait beyond that where you see the break here. This is now a very substantial structural disruption as well. So because that is the case, we could use the sell to buy, right? And then you can use the entire sell to buy to then aim for your overall target, right? Or you could still refine beyond that, which would have been till after this move, right? Where we do have equal lows, but we know that equal lows doesn't influence the bias. So once we have the CBOS, we have a low into a high, right? Any type of retracement you can see here as the same thing, reaching for the same target. So this is technically a reversal. It's good that it turned out, but I don't like that the rules weren't used to as how they were meant to be used, if that makes sense. But yeah, not the biggest fan of this setup. Not the biggest fan at all. But I'm glad it worked out. Very glad it worked out. Cool. But yeah, that kind of covers all the case studies from the Discord. Does anybody have any more case studies they want to go through? Any more questions? RIP yen, don't care for yen, man. Like anything that's not on my list, I couldn't care less for. Couldn't care less for. How's the swing plays going using these models? I haven't found many positions, bro. I haven't been finding many positions. I mean, I will argue that I haven't been putting in as much time as I should have. But I guess it just comes with the territory. Like it only makes sense, right? As a scalper, as any type of trader, right? It only makes sense that if you're willing to hold a trade for X amount of time, then you must be willing to wait that same amount of time for that trade to come to you, right? So if a swing trade is, let's say, anywhere from a day to a week, then I should be at the bare minimum. I must be willing to wait that max time frame, that 1 week, for these models to show themselves. So a lot of the time, these models just don't show themselves. Like even from a scalp POV, like we only see these really show themselves per pair. I would say maybe once, twice a week as a scalper, right? So if you convert that to the swing, it could easily be like 1 or 2 setups a month max, you know? So I guess it's just a new expectation that I expected, but I didn't think it would take this long, you know? So maybe I should be dedicating more time. Maybe I'm not looking at the right pairs. There's a bunch of stuff going into it, but I haven't had much time to look into that. My focus is still primarily, you know, looking at my scalping pairs. Now getting strict over rules. Yeah, man, less is more. Less is more. Let's see. Okay, Dow Jones. I like this. See? So like, even though this is not a trade I would take, I don't disagree with it. I would not take this trade. Just because I don't like when there's gaps in price. Like you see this in stocks a lot. It's kind of why I don't trade stocks. I like seeing full, clear price action, not gaps and weird candles. But maybe that's just because I've been looking at FX forever, right? But see, this is in and of itself, this is a transition, right? This is a transition. This is a pause in price, and this is a transition. So when we go from the potential LG, maybe you didn't get the full confirmation on the LG. I will say you didn't get the full confirmation. Your invalidation, yes, it has to be here because this is the final solidified point. And then you can kind of trail it as it goes, and then you're trailing it here as well, which is good. I would probably trail it here, just because you can see that there's a minor pause and then there's an impulsive move up. Target was the first red line. Okay, cool. Yeah, see, that's good. That's good. That's like a what? 1 to 2, 1 to 3. That's kind of the standard for taking these. If you have a internal target or internal model, external target, usually it is like a 1 to 2, 1 to 3. If you I don't want to say get lucky, but occasionally you will see the 1 to 4s and 1 to 5s, kind of like what we saw with the EURUSD yesterday, this one, where you see the transition and you have a cleared external target, then that's a 1 to 5. Very good trade. These are those trades that kind of just compound the growth. Where are the candlesticks of? It's Tom Trades, it's Fire and IG. I don't care about whoever that is, man. like respectfully. I don't care. I don't care for any traders, man, if I'm being honest. Was a bit uncertain, however, since the OGC wasn't completely confirmed. Yeah, I will say that is one risk. When was the last free session? When was the last one? Let's see. Two weeks ago? Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks ago. Yeah, man. It was right after, I think it was right after this webinar when I started, like when I just completely changed my my training routine. Like every day now I train for at least 2 hours. And then I go with a friend like twice a week, 3 times a week. We train together. But yeah, that's kind of where my main focus is right now, is really just staying away from alcohol, staying away from going out, staying away from vices. And I'm really just trying to lock in with the fitness, because I think that if I get the fitness right, then it'll consequently it will improve the self-love aspect. I think fitness and getting in shape is like the biggest form of self-love one can have. And from there, use that to exponentially grow in business. That's it. I actually had I had like 2 beers yesterday, just because I was with family. It was 4th of July. Fuck it, you know. Let's see, Joe. ATH, when do you recommend we start looking at shorts? I don't like that question, bro, because it's very case dependent. It's very case dependent. Like there is no protocol. Like, I don't like to promote protocols that force reversals. I just don't like to do that, because that's where you get burned. Like, for example, this is why everyone you see is trying to buy here, right? Because they're focused on the reversal. Like, no, bro, there is probably a POI here. This will continue to be swept, and this could probably continue lower. Like, I don't focus on reversal protocols, bro. You focus on continuations always. Imagine if you would have been following continuations on the S&P since COVID. Right? Like, how many people thought we were going to go into some big crash, and we were going to see a big reversal, right? Like no, like literally buy the dip, like literally. And it took a while to like to understand that as a trader. I think is a bit not difficult. It's a bit awkward. I will say it is a bit awkward, but you always have to buy the dip. Like, you have to, like, you, because the external direction is always usually the biggest telltale of where we're going to go. That's why the model is direction, liquidity, execution. Right? That's why that is the model. Like with almost all of my positions, right? Direction, liquidity, execution model, and then we aim for the target, right? Almost every single trade, especially as of this year, if you go to the webinars, the 2024 webinars, almost every single trade follows that same frame: direction, liquidity, execution. What is my direction? Is liquidity being taken? Yes. Okay, now let's look for an execution. Why? Because the direction gives you a bias, the liquidity gives you timing, and the execution or the model is the vehicle getting you to the desired target. right? So you need a bias and you need timing and then you need a reason to execute, right? So I don't want to force a reversal if I don't need to. And if I do need to, then why? Like there must be something wrong if I'm forcing a reversal. Yes, there will be reversal opportunities, but if you follow the continuations, more than likely they will completely do so much better in a longer term rather than a reversal. Any interest again? Let's see. Am I big on martial arts? No, man. I would definitely love to get into boxing, probably, just because I have a lot of friends that do it. But that's probably like a end of the year goal. In between now and the end of the year, it's just really getting in shape. I wouldn't do jiu-jitsu. I wouldn't do kickboxing just because of. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all know this, but when I went to college, I played college ball, and I had 5 surgeries in 3 years. So I had 2 ACL tears and I had 3 meniscus tears. And after the 3rd meniscus tear, I had to get a partial meniscectomy, meaning I take a piece of my meniscus off. So that's what's made it really, really hard to. It's made it really, really hard to get back into soccer shape. But yeah, those surgeries fucked me, man. Like they destroyed my college career. It really turned everything upside down, bro, if I'm being honest. But I'm grateful for them. Like, that's a whole another story. Like I could probably talk about that for hours, but because of that, I've been very, very cautious. How much did I spend on medical? Nothing, bro. The school paid for it. Nothing. There were some bills that I kind of got done dirty on, but that was a long time ago. But for the most part, school paid for everything. No, it's own capital. I don't care for prop firms. They're bullshit. Most of them are bullshit. Yeah, I just said I played college soccer, bro. Just said that. But you smoke. Smoking is 50-50, man. It's really depending on who is smoking. It depends on the individual. I know potheads who are bums, and I know potheads who are actually decently successful. But I don't know anybody who smokes that's hyper successful. I haven't met someone like that yet. Yeah, so yeah, I played soccer, yeah. I mean, I still play today. Like I'm actually like I still play. It's just like playing at a very hyper competitive level is it's not, I'm not there yet for sure. Hyper successful. You have seen it. Do you know them personally? Because I mean, I know these guys personally. If I don't know them personally and I'm just going off what I see, then more than likely that's not a good way to measure. But it's also not just about seeing someone that's hyper successful do it. It's also like averages, it's ratios, like how many people do you know, or what are the odds of someone becoming hyper successful when they smoke? Like it's not just are they successful and do they smoke? It's just how many people does that apply to? How many people have failed because of that? Because I know way more bums that are fucking potheads than semi-successful people who are potheads. Like yeah, I don't promote brokers, or I don't promote anything actually. Like the only thing I would promote is Alex's the investment facilitator. But maybe for the next call, I'll tell him to come on and explain everything for you guys. It's the only thing I would ever promote. Sciatica pain was killing me, bro. Sciatica, you can fix that, bro. You can fix that. That's an excuse. You can fix that. Trust me. That's on PAM accounts. I've never I've never looked into them. Isn't that like isn't that kind of like trading investor capital kind of? You do these every day? No, this is the first one, bro. This is the first one. I'm planning on doing these. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe like every 2 weeks. Because we do have some pretty big announcements coming. I just have to confirm everything with Sergio. I'm going to see him tomorrow. But yeah, if you join the free Discord, all of the announcements are there. But for the next one, we should have some pretty big announcements. Come back to Texas? What do you mean come back? Been off the vape since January. Yeah, man. Vaping is horrible, man. You know something? Every time you puff a vape, think about this. Every time you're hitting a vape, you're losing minutes of your life. Every single time you hit it, you're losing minutes of your life. Just think about that. My old PT told me that. Yeah. Like me and my friend used to go to therapy together when like physical therapy when we had our ACL tears. And one time he told, because he had a big vaping thing, like a vaping habit, and I never got into vapes like that, honestly. Like I hate them. Like if I'm out, maybe I'll do them, but I won't buy. I've never bought one. So, um, yeah, he said every time you're hitting those things, like you're losing minutes of your life. So, to each their own. Oh yes, no. Sergio lives in Austin. I don't live in Austin, bro. I don't vape. I just do cigars. Yeah, I do cigars maybe once, twice a month. If I'm down bad, I will say like this is the only bad habit that I feel like I have right now. It's if I ever feel down bad, like I might do a Zin. Gas station tobacco. Whoa, wait. What country? 2 cigars a week is crazy, bro. Zinning is I don't know, man. Most people say that they use it for work, but I actually do use it for work. Like if I'm ever like struggling to focus, like I'll just grab a bottle of water, I'll grab a cup of coffee. But if I'm already done with the coffee, I'll just grab some water to hit the Zin, lock into work, and I can get some like 2 hours of deep work done. Oh, you smoke Black and Milds, man? You're crazy. You're crazy, bro. No, that's crazy. Zin. Nicotine pouches, bro. Nicotine pouches. Yeah, smoking Black and Milds is crazy, bro. That's crazy. I've actually never had somebody admit that to me. Like, that's crazy. But cool. Do we have any more questions? Any more topics before we go ahead and wrap today's live up? Exam season had me on some mad Nick addiction. I feel that, bro. I feel that. Nicotine pouches, bro. They smell. Yeah. Black and Milds do stink. Do you do anything besides that? Not really, bro. Like I would say the biggest. Let's see. I would say the biggest bad habit I've ever had is eating like shit. That's probably the worst one. Oh, what do you mean by do anything? Hold on. What do you mean by do anything? In the 2 hours, bro, I mean, sometimes I'll even work out for like the craziest days that me and my friend have, because my friend he's like the friend that I train with. He's one of my top 3 closest friends of all time, like ever, and he is his fitness level is probably on par with the professional soccer players. So just think about that. And I'm training with this motherfucker, right? Like the worst day we've had today or to date is I forgot if we either did bike or we ran. I think we ran like 2 miles or we did 30 minutes on the bike. And then we went straight into we go to like a parking lot in at like 3 p.m. in Texas, and in Texas right now it's fucking 99 degrees, right? It's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So we train, we do like ball work, we do some type of fitness, we do one-on-ones, like a bunch of stuff like that for like an hour and a half, and then we chill for a little bit. Then we go straight into the gym and we do like calisthenic work. But that stuff, it's not difficult. Like what I've noticed about calisthenics is that it's difficult. It's very difficult, but it's not exhausting. It's just like you're using full effort for like 5 to 10 seconds, and you're doing that maybe 3 times per exercise, and you're doing like 5 to 6 exercises. So it'll take up like an hour, and then from there we'll rest, and then we might go play some pickup ball with someone, and that comes up to being like 3 hours of work. The next day I'll be sore, right? But bro, like, I mean, I'm 25, right? I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 25. Like, I have no excuses, man. Like, a little bit of soreness ain't shit. Like I could probably go run a mile off nothing right now, and I'm not technically like in the best of shape. Like, we're young, we got to take advantage of these bodies, man. Like, especially while we still have them. Have to take advantage. We will never be this young ever again. And I think the biggest thing though that caused that for me was there was this one day where I just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go out for a run," and I've never ran more than 3 miles in my life, like in one sitting. And I ran 6 miles. Let me tell you, when I died after that, like I straight up died. I could not walk afterwards, but it broke the belief that hey, you can fucking do this shit. Like, it's really all mental. And ever since then, I've just been pushing the limits. Let's see. Like job, work. So the only things that so what I do with my day is I trade, I work out, and then I help my buddy with business development. So we pretty much just run outreach for a pretty big marketing group here in Dallas. And I only help him with it because I really really fuck with the owner of the company. He's like 23 years old. He's a fucking stud. Um, and he's looking to become like the biggest agency or the biggest marketing group here in DFW. So I'm kind of helping them out with finding clients, and it's going well. We're building a pretty good pipeline. Doesn't take up too much of my time, and I just do that in my free time. But yeah, it's just trading, RCV, and business development. But yeah, other than are you into cars in all Texas? I mean, I have a cool Lexus. I have an old school Fox body. But like, am I into cars? Not really. I mean, I don't know. I think most of those guys like they make their identity their car, and I think that's a terrible thing to do. Um, 40 degrees in Pakistan. That's crazy. Oh, degrees Celsius. Oh, that's crazy. Based on you asking that question, I know you have not seen any of my videos. I will not give you any shortcuts, bro. Just know that I will never give you a shortcut. But yeah, man, if we have any new people in here, you have to watch these videos. Like, even if you hate listening to me, like, you have to watch this stuff if you genuinely want my feedback. Just because I can't sit here and teach you, you know, like, I can't spend my time here teaching you, some random person on YouTube, like, all this stuff that's already on my YouTube. Like I said, the biggest point of these Zooms, sorry, of these live streams is to really just help hone down the refinement side of everything. Yo, BB Capital, I need you to stop, bro. This is your second warning. And if not, I'm banning you from the channel, bro. I'm being serious. I'm gonna ban you from the channel if you keep this up. Like, we're not here with this bullshit. Like, I don't know I don't know if you know how we work, everything. I don't know if you've been in Zooms before. I don't know if you've been in the Discords before. Like, we don't work like this, bro. The last time. Because and I don't think you understand, like, when people talk shit, like, especially like over, like, on a screen, like, bro, you're straight up projecting. Like, just stop, bro. You're making yourself look bad. Like, but yeah, any more questions, guys, or are we good to wrap it up here? Cool. Cool. Hopefully this new layout works out for you all. But yeah, man, we do have some pretty cool announcements coming. Stuff we've been working on for a while. But yeah, man, time to lock in. And we had about 20 something people at the peak. That's pretty good. Hopefully, I think tomorrow we're going to be doing the Spanish one, so we might have way more viewers on that one. But yeah, it was great being on here. Hopefully we can do these a bit more often. Yeah, there were 30 at the peak. 30 is usually like the number for the English ones, for the English calls. But yeah, hopefully the Spanish one can perform well as well. Mm-hmm. Wait, what? What is it? What do you mean? What does that mean? Yeah, I don't know what you mean by more into RCV. No, so most of the Spanish community is coming from an old RCV member, and he used to be in the group back in what is it called? Back in like 2018, 2019. He was like a member of our stuff, and then he ended up going off doing his own thing, but it was only towards the Spanish community because he speaks Spanish. So I reached out to him like back in like maybe like 3 months ago, saying that like I'm not here to like give him shit about having his own group or anything. I'm just here to see how we can collab, how we can work together. And so the deal is pretty much we come on and do free Zooms, and it's pretty much the same thing that I'm doing right now, just in Spanish. And then after that, we what's it called? He promotes my book, and I promote his group, because obviously like Spanish is not, my Spanish is not anywhere near as good as it used to be. So I don't feel comfortable selling mentorship in Spanish. I just don't feel comfortable with it. I would gladly do calls and stuff like that, but I can't run like an entire group, and I can't run an entire group both in English and then run another group in Spanish. Like, it's too much work and it's not enough money. So I just think this is a good balance. So really the main goal now is just to get everything streamlined, try to get everything hands off, where really the only work that I really have to do is these calls and maybe some journal reviews here and there. But for the most part, I'm trying to streamline this so I can focus more on my trading, focus more on the business development that I do, and then use that to really exponentially grow the net worth. Honestly, the Spanish community is way better than the English community. Let me tell you, the amount of shitheads I see in the English community, especially like on Twitter, the amount of just negativity, the amount of ego, it's so toxic, right? Like, that's why I'm very happy that the group is very low key and you guys kind of stick together, and the group is really composed of very similar individuals. Whereas when I see anything else on social media, it's just so, it's and I guess it just stems from the intention of most people, which is just to make money, right? But I don't know, I don't like the English community at all. Like, not you guys, right? But I just mean in general. Whereas with the Spanish community, it's like most of these people, they come from, not first world countries. Like they genuinely are looking to try to learn, because to them, even if they make like $100 on a trade, that's like game changer for them. So if I can help that community, maybe it could bring more business to me, and maybe it could just bring so many more benefits because I'm helping much more people on a bigger scale. And I don't have to deal with a bunch of bullshit like I have to do with, or like how many people have to do with the English community. So overall, the Spanish community is solid, man. It's very good. It's essentially like a bunch of you, Rage, and a bunch of Tams. Just very humble people that are actually coming to learn here, and it's a bunch of those people trying to, find something or do something for themselves. But yeah, overall, I would say it's very healthy. People are very open-minded, very humble people. But it could also just be like my friend's community. Like, it could just be like the community that he built. That he found a way to organically create a very good community. Like the Spanish community could be just as bad. I'm just going off of what I see. But I will say it's a bit difficult for me to translate everything into Spanish. It's a bit difficult. So but yeah, man. Any more questions, or can we wrap it up here? Yeah, the Spanish community is very focused, bro. Very, very focused. It caught me completely by surprise, if I'm being honest. But yeah, any more questions, concerns before we go ahead and wrap this up? Excuse me. Any great broker? I don't recommend brokers, bro. I don't recommend brokers. I don't recommend brokers. Don't recommend brokers. I don't recommend prop firms. My sole purpose, for you guys to get this, my sole purpose is to help you learn how to win a trade. That is my entire goal. Because if the fundamental thing that every profitable trader has is one thing, and it's that they know how to win a trade. And if you know how to win a trade, it's not just a matter of taking less trades. Because now you just have to take the better winners. That's it. And that consequently will give you profitability. That's just that bottom line. You can win more trades than you lose, and then the risk to reward will obviously carry on. But if you can learn the anatomy of winning trades, that is number one. But yeah, I don't recommend brokers, bro. Don't recommend brokers. Cool. No more questions? No more concerns? Yeah, man. No worries. No worries. Yeah, man. It's very hard to find good brokers these days. Very hard. Because for one, it's just like, it depends on where you're from. It depends on what kind of passports do you have. Like, especially for like the US people, bro, it's terrible finding a new broker. Like, most people are just having to move over to futures. Like, yeah, but it's a headache for real. Big time headache. But I mean, if you're not from the US, bro, you should easily be able to find brokers. If you're not from the US, it should be very easy to find a regulated broker. Because there's always like the popular ones like IC Markets, Vantage, Pepperstone. Shit, even Multibank is pretty good as well. Like, if you're not from the US, it's very easy to find a good broker. How much money have you made in a day? A silly question, bro. Silly question. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? No. Cool. I guess if we have no more questions, then we can go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate you guys for hopping on. I'm gonna try to do these a bit more often. But yeah, I will keep doing these for as long as people keep bringing in reviews, and we will just go from there. But yeah, man, thank you guys for hopping on, and I will see you guys in the next one.